Things happening. Okay. Let me just double check and make sure we're live. And hopefully everything's worked out now. The chat wasn't working, so I wanted to make sure it's working now. So, okay. Things happening. Okay. Perfect. Let me just double check and make sure we're live. I'm going to leave chat up this time, so if you guys have questions, I can chat with you. So the reason I'm coming to you today, all of a sudden I want to go live and everybody's like texting me. The reason I wanted to go live today is because I've been working on this conglomeration of various traits of like what is a Starseed Lightworker mission. There's so many new Starseeds and Lightworkers waking up. There's so many that are in the process of awakening that have all these questions about like when people talk about missions, what's a mission? What does that really mean? What am I here to do? Things like that. So I'm more than happy to take your questions. If you guys have questions, it's just easier for me to go live instead of tape it and then try and fix it and then try and upload it. So I have here, and I'm sure there's more than this, but I came up with 18 missions that Lightworkers and Starseeds have been called to do here on Earth. And before we get into that, I just want to say that if you're new to this, please know that you don't have to worry about specifics of your mission. Like it'll all come together in the right timing. You can push as hard as you want, but until the time is right, it's not going to happen. And also, I wanted to say that as a Lightworker, as a Starseed, you how do I want to say this? You can have more than one mission. So just because I'm giving you a list of the missions that I know about and the missions that other people are on, the missions that I've gone on, doesn't mean that you have to stick with one. So if you're new to this, I think it would be really good for you guys to write down the ones that interest you or the ones that you feel drawn to. Like for me, if something rings true for me or if something is truth, I feel it in my being. Like it gives me shivers a lot of times, or I just have this emotional connection and I just know that that it's true for me. Okay, so I want to point that out before we begin because there's a lot of different types of light workers, a lot of different types of starseeds, and I just want to make sure that you guys understand that it doesn't matter how many missions you have. If you feel like you just have one mission, if you have more, what matters is that you guys do them and you guys are successful at them. Because if something happens, let's say if you get too bogged down by 3D stuff and you aren't able to connect and you aren't able to hold the place of love and light, and if any of that happens and you just check out, then that means that somebody else has to take your place. And so it's a big deal. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but like upstairs it's kind of a big deal. So we don't want to have somebody else step into your shoes, right? But I understand that in the beginning, it's a lot easier if you guys have kind of an idea of what the possible missions are. So that's where I wanted to start today. And I'm just going to type something here in the chat to welcome everybody. Hey, Angela, it's nice to see you. Feel free to ask questions if you have them. And then also remember, this is not, I've been working on this list for a long time, but this is not by any means a concise, end all be all list. Okay. This is just what I've witnessed from conversations I've had, sessions I've had, things like that. So it's a good list to get you guys started. Okay. So number one, Lightworkers and Starseeds. Missions include code bringers. And this is a very broad topic here, but that includes written codes, spoken codes, sung codes, mathematical codes, all sorts of different types of codes. And those can be received through light languages, galactic languages, through drawing, through writing. There's a lot of ways that Lightworkers can bring codes in, right? So that's number one. And if you're brand new to this and you go to a lot of like the Facebook Lightworker groups, there's some worker groups for codes and light language and things like that. So code bringers is what I'm going to call them. Number two would be gate openers. And this is portal openers and Stargate openers. This also includes relic holders and artifact collectors. So this seems probably really confusing to you, and this probably won't resonate with a lot of you. This is a select few that this will resonate with, but let me just give you the gist of it. I don't want the video to be incredibly long, but I also want you to have some background on this so you're not so confused. So portal openers would be and Stargate openers would be you guys here using your codes and traveling to places and then feeling like you have to commune with these places that you're traveling with. So in ancient times, we used to have stargates that would allow us to travel from here to there to a different planet, to a different system. And these stargates, the only way they are activated is if they have specific DNA in them. And so let's just say, I can use myself as an example. So in this now moment, I don't need the Stargate to be active, but in past now moment, I had a Stargate that was active. And so that Stargate held my DNA. So what I ended up doing, one of my missions was traveling and actually I had no idea what I was doing at the time, but I spoke languages and then I cleared out my DNA. So new DNA could be put in for the new people who have to use them. Okay. Portals are the same thing, kind of, sort of. It doesn't really have to do with DNA, but it's connecting things to open up the old portals to jump from one place to another here on Earth. Okay. And relic holders and artifact collectors. So this is something that I'm really passionate about because I am one, but it's different than what you think of in our now. When you think of artifacts and relics, you think of like museums and stuff like that. And while there is a side of that, I'm not gonna lie, there is a side of that. What I'm talking about is more galactic things, more system-wide pieces. So I was going to do a whole video on this, and I think I will. I'll just touch on it right now. But a relic in our now moment in our world is like, you know, like a saint's finger. Hey, Solar, is like a saint's finger. Like to the church, that's a relic. Okay, in galactic world, a relic would be something that has magical sounds weird, but magical abilities, and it's put into a specific piece, whether it's a piece of jewelry, whether it's a sword, whether it's a, you know, like you guys have read stories about like Excalibur and things like that, right? So that would be a relic. Moses's staff, that would be a relic, and those things are all housed off planet. Now, some people, if they're your relic, they will be designated back to you, and so it's very complicated. It's a long story, but there's various ways that they can bring these artifacts back to you, or sorry, these relics back to you. And so you can use them, especially now, like now is the time for them to be used. So what is an artifact? So here on Earth, an artifact is, do I have random artifacts? we have random Earth artifacts sitting everywhere in our house, but like a piece of pottery, right? That would be an artifact here on Earth. But historically, but off planet, a relic is something that is a piece of history or a piece of family history or something off planet that then gets delivered to you, or something that was used and is important to the history of this planet, to a different planet, like a physical object, but it doesn't have, hey, well, but it doesn't have magical abilities in it, but it is important to, you know, a royal family or something like that. So that would be a relic. And some of you are relic holders and artifact collectors, and then you can use those to open stargates and portals. Long story, we can talk about that later. Number 3, so those of you on your missions, number 3 are grid repairs, builders, and connectors. So a lot of times this happens in astral, and most of us, unless you're really living in like the 4D and you have a good handle on the different energies coming in and you can handle the 4D and your 3D while you're sleeping, a lot of you don't even know that you're working on the grid, and the grid is what covers the earth. Some of it has been repaired, some of the old stuff has been taken down, and this is just a constant process. And you need to have your human self down here to be able to anchor into the earth, to be able to help your astral working on those grids. So many of you are grid repairers, grid builders, and grid connectors, and you're connecting this wonderful crystalline grid around the planet. Number 4, some of you are what I call radio operators. And this would be people who channel or people who get messages. So you guys are the ones who are relaying and receiving messages back and forth. So if there is, I don't know, if there is a message from the Galactic Council, let's just say, you know, they will give it to you and then you can forward it to the people that need it to be forwarded to, something like that. So a lot of times you see this in the Facebook groups where people are like, oh, I got this downloaded message, and, you know, or videos, you know, I had a chat with Archangel Michael and this is what he said. So that is what I consider radio operators. Again, there's probably better labels. I'm not that great of a label maker, but I think it gets the point across. So you guys are the communicators off world to this world is basically what's happening. And like I said, that includes channeling, writing, healing. I mean, you're pulling in those healing energies and sending them out. And that's why you're here, because you're grounding into the earth. And you need to be here in order to really solidify those healing energies and be able to send them out in a way that can't really be done in astral. So number 5. Okay, so number 5, you all are number 5. Okay, this is part of your mission. Everyone, every single person who considers themselves a Starseed or a Lightworker, all of our missions are Lightbearers. Okay, we are keepers of the light, we're keepers of the flames, we are the pillars. And what this means is that just you being here are holding so much light that you actually, if you could view it from up top, you would see these beautiful pillars of light. And that's what's helping change the world. And so it's important that you keep yourself strong, and so your pillars of light stay strong as well. And you do this without even thinking about it. But anytime you offer up prayers for the world, you know, for its people, things like that, that all helps. So all of you do that. Okay, number 7, mission for number 7 is teachers. A lot of us are teachers. And again, there's a lot of teachers. So I'm just going to just give the basics of this. So some teachers include, hey Beck, some teachers include galactic historian teachers. Some teachers include Earth historian teachers, because as we know, what's always written in our Earth history isn't always what really happened in Earth history. So some of us are teaching and gathering people and teaching healing modalities. Some of us are teaching channeling. Some of us are connecting people with their past life pieces so they can put themselves together and be a stronger light, so they can heal family lines and stuff. So there's so many ways that you guys are teachers that, I mean, we can make a whole video out of this. Some of you for your missions are going to be what I call unlockers and activators. This is number 8, unlockers and activators. So these are people, these are light workers who come in and help other people unlock their soul memories and their multi-dimensionality and the memories of others. And so by doing that, by helping people unlock and activate things, we're actually pushing forward this mission of getting the Earth back on target with the vibrations and getting everybody healed up and stuff like that. So it's very, very important. Activators come in all different types of activations, light language activations, healing activations, all sorts of stuff. So again, it's a big topic. Number 9, Galactic Ambassadors. So if some of you feel this, you are definitely going to be Galactic Ambassadors. And this is prepping public for contact, but there's like, you know, there's scales to everything. So some people are like really crazy about doing this, and some people take care of a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And so with everything, there's always going to be a sliding scale. And these missions involve just prepping people for contact, introducing people to some of the races that are out there. And also, like myself lately, I just messaged Will and I said, I don't know about you, but I have been sitting in meetings all night long. And so part of being a Galactic Ambassador for me is having meetings and discussing what's really going on here, and you know, how are we allowed to help, and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So Galactic Ambassadors are pretty much like representatives who work with different galactic groups, and you are the go-between with Earth and with these groups prepping so we can actually join our brothers and sisters at some point, which is slowly happening. A lot of people think it's going to just happen, like boom, it's going to happen. And you know, it depends. It really depends what happens in these meetings. It depends how things go. Stuff, it's kind of like Earth. I mean, stuff has to be voted on and stuff. It's not just like, hey, this would be really great fun, let's just jump down there and say hi. There's a lot to consider when talking about it. So number 10, you guys are the crystal people. I termed the label Atlantean Crystal Keepers, but basically you guys are the ones that work with crystals, work with rocks, you teach people about them, and this includes clearing and reprogramming. And the reason I called it Atlantean is because there were massive crystal caves in Atlantis, and there were actual crystal keepers who would clear the crystals and clear the energies and things like that. So if you enjoy rocks and their energies and crystals, you would be a crystal keeper. And these all seem like small missions, but once you realize that they're all kind of sort of tied together, it makes you really understand like why you're here and why you have all these abilities and these thoughts coming in and things like that. So number 11, mission for number 11. You are prayer advocates and bringers of calm and peace. And this is what we need. This is what we need in droves right now. So if you guys feel called to this, by all means. And prayers can be, you know, whomever you feel closest to. There's no like set belief system, but just pray for the world, pray for its people. This has to do with your light and your energies and your healing energies as well. So for you prayer advocates and bringers of calm and peace, this is really important right now. Like you guys are on the front lines. Another mission is caretakers and guardians of the new children. So a lot of you are probably aware, but we do have hybrids in our system right now. I actually have a daughter who is a hybrid who is put into adoption agency through a program. And so they're here now and we need people to take care of them. It's the mothers and the fathers who are having children, and these children are telling us all about rock grids and crystals and telling us all about the energies. And then you have another side of that of parents who adopt children who don't even realize that they are parenting and being the guardians of these new children coming in. So those who are adopting children as well. I think that's really important. It's really close to my heart, especially on my adoption day. It's very close to my heart. So Number 13, planetary healers. This is a really important mission also. We need you guys to keep doing what you're doing. This includes healing the planet. There's a lot of ways you can heal the planet. You know, you can heal the land, you can heal the oceans, you can heal the earth, and there's a lot of ways to do that. Number 14, innovators. So you are bringing off-world technology to Earth. And when I think about like who would be an innovator historically, Nikola Tesla. Okay, so he would have been an innovator, bringing off-world technology to Earth, making the world a better place with higher thought processes, right? So number 15. I'm going through these really fast, but I just don't want this video to be super long. If you guys are really interested in something, we can talk a lot more about it. Each of these topics could be a video in themselves. So, okay, number 15, Liberators and Protectors of Trapped Souls. So this one is very interesting to me. I don't want to get into the history of it, but basically you guys are using your codes and your abilities and things to let some of the old caretakers, let some of the old souls that stayed back millennia ago to protect areas, to give them their freedom. They by their free will, so that they would stay back and they would look after places and protect places. And now it's time that they get released, and not just anybody can do that. So some of you will be called to do that. And the reason that I put this in here is because I had an example in a museum that I went to once last year, I think, where I ended up freeing this, it was like an Egyptian thing, but it was a protector soul who their time was up. They needed to go, and nobody had come in with the codes in order to do it. And I was able to do it for them. So this is really important. This is the priests and the priestess who are reincarnating in. And again, this is all those souls who stayed behind. It's time that they're liberated now. So protectors. And 16, guardians and watchers. So this is the people who are acting like anthropologists. Okay, so you are here and you are just observing. Just watching what happens, and at night in your astral, you're reporting what happens. I mean, it's as simple as that. Sometimes these things aren't that complex, you know. And so I like to call it anthropologists, because we're kind of like Starseed Lightworker anthropologists for those of us who do this. And I think everybody does it to a certain extent. You and I can teach that class. Yes, well, I would love to teach that class with you. I definitely would. And so just know that something like this, which maybe in the human world seems like a small deal, is not, because you guys are the eyes and ears here, okay? And so you guys are reporting what you see, reporting numbers, reporting how things are going, things like that. And that then goes into our meetings that I have to sit in. And we get to discuss that. So you guys, your job is really important, even if it seems kind of low key. You guys, let's see, number 17. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. And I'm sure that there's more. Maybe some of us can come up with some more and we can talk about them. But this is a really good list so far. It at least can get you guys thinking. So number 17, you guys are the connectors. Yes, the freeing trap souls. Well, I'm totally with you. We'll talk about it. So mission number 17 is the connectors. You guys are the ones who are connecting people and groups. So if someone is in like actually this just happened today in one of the code groups, one of the Facebook code groups, where somebody posts something and then somebody comments with an answer or an insight to their question, and then you get to meet people, and then that person who initially commented can say, hey, I know some other people who you might be interested in talking to. So this is really important. We need you guys as connectors to be, you know, chit-chatty and to make connections and get people connected, because some of us aren't as chit-chatty as some of you guys are, and it's a really important skill to be able to connect people. So those are the connectors. Number 18. this is the last one I have. Let me just double check. This is the last one I have, but I'm sure there's more. So number 18, I call it the truth detectors and the rule breakers and society changers. And this is a big thing. Like you know, they always say like light workers are supposed to be all love and light. And I could talk about this for hours, but some of us are here to break the rules. Some of us are here to show how the systems aren't working on Earth. Some of us are here to show how the systems could work differently. So you guys are the truth detectors and the rule breakers and the society changers. So I don't know if you guys listening have anything else to add to that I may have forgotten or left out. But those are my 18 those are my 18 missions for you guys, for those of you just starting out. And yeah, I would love to chat more about this. I think, again, each one of these could be a topic all in their own. And I'm sure we can come up with more. So I know that it's difficult, especially when you're just waking up and you're like, oh my gosh, I have these missions and I just want to go home and I don't really know what I'm doing here. And I always feel out of place here. And, you know, what are my abilities? What am I supposed to be doing? And so think about this list, write down the ones that you feel drawn to or the ones that give you that confirmation of, you know, this is clicking, something here is adding up, and then think about it, meditate on it. And yeah, so I guess that's all I have to say for you guys. I want to leave you with a blessing. And then if there are no more questions, I am going to pop off. So Dushasia sunodaya lai puku ayata sakunishi dayalu ono tu puku ayasa nayata ka unaya dialu una setiato kupushuna haha kia kutuhuna kyuhoshatu bushushia sala anayata kia no yalata biasutub kia shushusha sana yata yata bushuko yasata ianahala iata ianasanadiata wasu ushuk unataya sanaliapo kakana yotia bujajia nayasatia nahala iatayasana. Namaste. Thank you guys and many blessings and have a great day. We'll talk to you later, okay?